This morning in our food segment called Today's Main Course, we're looking at a favorite breakfast place, the Ruby Slipper. The business was started by Eric and Jennifer Weishaupt. At the time, they really knew nothing about the restaurant business. He was in real estate. She was a successful engineer at Shell who was very ambitious about the oil business. Then Katrina hit, and when the couple got back to their mid-city home, they knew they wanted to do something to help their community.
We came back to the neighborhood. I was very active with the neighborhood organization, with kind of the rebuilding task force and the planning and all of the things that happened after Katrina. And this opportunity came up where this kind of blighted building in our neighborhood was going to get renovated, and we had the opportunity to put a restaurant in it. It wasn't a business we were in, but it was a need that we saw for the community and for the neighborhood, and that we thought would be something that would just really help rebuild.
It took a while to get the place up and running, but they finally did it, opening the first Ruby Slipper in May of 2008. While getting the restaurant open was a big accomplishment, there was a problem. Neither one of them had any experience in the restaurant business, so they turned to the internet thinking they could learn how to make it work, even though everybody said, "This is nuts."
Our banker said we were crazy, our accountant said we were crazy, our lawyer said we were crazy, our
people in the
insurance
restaurant
guys
business
said they were crazy, the restaurant people we knew said we were crazy, everybody said we were crazy.
One thing they knew for sure, the place had to be open only for breakfast and lunch. Jennifer says she's not a late night person and had other plans for their life.
I had my full-time job. I was not leaving my job. We never changed our lifestyle. We were gonna live off what I made, and the business, we basically just wanted it to break even.
Right.
So we didn't have these big aspirations like we have to be able to feed our child and pay a mortgage from what we make in this business.
And did you ever think it'd be more than one restaurant?
No,
You thought it'd
definitely
just
not.
be
No,
that?
it's like one little neighborhood restaurant. It'd be a great place. We wanted it to be this
Mom and
place.
pop
Yeah,
place.
we wanted it to be a place when people came in the door, the servers knew who they were, they know how they wanted their coffee, they knew your two or three favorite things. And for us, it was this combination of we want good quality food, we want great coffee, always important at breakfast, and we just want really warm, inviting service. And that was kind of what we built the business on.
And for two people who knew very little about the restaurant business, that model Jennifer just laid out worked very well. Actually, their business was booming to the point where people said the wait was too long to get in, so her husband Eric started looking for a second location.
So he found the lease ad for 200 Magazine on Craigslist.
Really?
Like the day the ad came up, he happened to see Craigslist, he calls the number, he goes over there. The lease rate was really phenomenal. That building, if you're familiar with it, it's probably the place that people most know Ruby Slipper for, which is the corner of Magazine and Common, and had been restaurants for at least 2 decades. About 10 failed restaurants in 2 decades.
Yeah.
So again, the same people who told us we were crazy when we opened on Cortez Street, a block off Canal, told us we were really crazy if we were going to sign a lease for this place that nobody had been able to keep alive.
Well, the naysayers were wrong again. That place on Magazine became their highest grossing restaurant. By the time they opened their third Ruby Slipper in the Marigny, they realized this was a real business. Her husband had already started working more full-time with the restaurants, and when they opened their fifth, she decided to leave her job at Shell.
Because I saw that my husband really, we were about to open a 5th location, which was in Pensacola, Florida, first location outside the city. And I knew that, it probably was really going to take both of us, at least in the short term, to, build up the people infrastructure in the business to be able to run. But at that time, even, it was like, okay, it's 5. Maybe we'll add another one, and we opened in Orange Beach the next year. And then the year after that, which was 2017, is when we got really ambitious and said, are we gonna grow this business, or are we just gonna keep it as it is? And that was really the decision point. And so in 2017, we opened 3 restaurant locations. The one that's uptown on Magazine Street in the Garden District. Baton Rouge, we opened kind of middle of that year. And then this location that we're sitting in was slated and opened at the end of December. And this was basically the replacement location for our original, because the lease ran out at that original restaurant, which was tiny compared to this.
They now have 18 restaurants in 5 states, with more slated to open in the near future. Jennifer says they've been so successful because their food is so good and they knew what they didn't know and hired very good staff. Their family's always been philanthropic, but that went to a whole new level in 2019.
We founded the Weishaupt Family Foundation, and in 2019, with our board, we went through and made donations to a number of local nonprofits in the New Orleans area that were aligned with some of the things that are really near and dear to my heart in particular.
But you did it quietly.
Very quietly.
Why is that?
I've never done philanthropic things for the recognition. I'm a really firm believer that like what you put out into the universe is what you get back, and that you help people because you want to help them.
And their foundation has given a lot. And if you wonder how they got the name Ruby Slipper, Jennifer says she heard a story on WWOZ about a high school girl who was forced to live in Houston for a year after Katrina, and she wanted to come home. And in a reference to Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, the girl said, "I grew up in Oz. Every place else is just Kansas." Jennifer was so moved by that, their restaurant became the Ruby Slipper.
I think their story is fascinating. It just seems like everything just kind of fell into place,
Well, and it was a lot of hard work. I mean,
sure.
For people who knew nothing about the restaurant business, I mean, they were quick learners, they're smart, and they've really done a heck of a business. And just for full disclosure, our favorite, the Morning News crew's favorite one is the one on Broad Street where we did the interview, so that was good.
And their eggs Blackstone? Love it.
All right.
Delicious.
Anyway, let's get over to Peyton and check out the forecast.